Hi everybody, I'm Cassandra and I am a programmer at the Orange County Library System. Today, as part of our Cuisine Corner Junior, we are going to be making an apple crisp. This apple crisp recipe was made famous by Chef Edna Lewis. Chef Edna Lewis was a prominent Black chef who grew up on a farm and believed in the freshest ingredients. This book, Bring Me Some Apples and I'll Make You a Pie, by Robin Gourley, was written about her, and you can request it at ocls.info and read it at home. Today we will be using our oven, a vegetable peeler, and a knife. All three of these things are sharp or hot, so you should ask an adult before you use them and ask them for their help, especially with the knife because it is very, very sharp. So the first thing that we should do is preheat our oven to 375 degrees. And we also need to prepare our baking pan. Your baking pan should be a pie plate about 9 inches or a square brownie tin about 8 inches. In order to prepare that, we need to use baking spray. And that's it. Set that aside for when you're ready. Our first ingredient today is apples. You need about 6 cups of apples. These apples are Honeycrisp, and I need about 4 because these are really big apples. So I'm gonna use my vegetable peeler and I'm gonna peel the skin off of these apples. This is my blade and it is very, very sharp, so we don't wanna touch that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna press it firmly to the apple and we're gonna press away from you. And there we go, part of the skin has fallen off. I'm doing it over a bowl, not over a trash can, because if I drop it, then I won't be able to have to dig it out of the trash, which you can't really do. So we're gonna peel it. Now that we're done peeling, we're gonna cut our apples. So we don't want the core in the center. So we're gonna take our knife and we're gonna very carefully, with our adult's permission, we're gonna cut right here at the edge of the core. We're gonna do that all the way around. And this is our core, and we can throw that in the trash. We're gonna slice up our apples into little dices. So that means we're gonna slice across like this, and then the other direction, making little cubes of apple. We're gonna put all of these apples into another mixing bowl. Once you're done cutting your apples, you can set your knife aside because we're all done with that. Next, we're gonna take a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon and 2 tablespoons of sugar. So if you've never cooked before, the difference between a tablespoon and a teaspoon can be difficult to know. The tablespoon, it says right here, tablespoon, is always gonna be bigger than your teaspoon. This is our teaspoon. Sometimes they're labeled as TSP for teaspoon or TBSP for tablespoon. So we need 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon and 2 tablespoons of sugar. We are going to mix these two together and give them a quick little stir. And then we're going to sprinkle this over our apples. And next, to keep our apples from browning before they're cooked, we're going to use a 1/4 cup of orange juice. We're just going to pour that over and give this all a mix. And there's your apple filling. Since we're done with our apple filling, we can take our pie plate and pour our apple filling in there. Because I had 4 large apples, I might have a little bit too many apples to fill my pie plate. And that's okay, I can just set some aside and I can eat them later because it's just apples and they're delicious. We're gonna press that down, put a little bit more. There we go. I think that's pretty well full. What do you think? I'm gonna set this aside along with my pie plate, and then we're gonna make our topping. For our topping, we need 5 tablespoons of butter. As you can see on my stick of butter, it says 1 TBSP. That stands for tablespoon, remember? So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tablespoons. So we're gonna unwrap this, and your butter should be soft. If it's not soft, go ahead and put it in the microwave for only about 5 seconds. We don't want it to be melted. We just want it to be soft. So again, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're gonna dump these 5 tablespoons into another mixing bowl. And we're gonna use a fork and just kind of mush it down. This is why we want our butter to be soft, so that we can mix things into it. If it's too hard, it'll just stay a large stick of butter. So for our topping, we need 1/4 teaspoons of cinnamon and 1/2 cup of sugar. So it says here 1/2 cup. So I'm gonna scoop my sugar into this and then pour it into my bowl. And I'm gonna give this a good mix before we pour in our next ingredient. Now that our butter is all mixed together, we're going to add 3/4 cups of rolled oats. Rolled oats are also called old-fashioned oats. So in order to get 3/4, I'm going to take my 1/4 cup and use it 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And again, we're gonna give this a good mix. The final ingredient in our topping is optional. You can choose chopped walnuts or chopped pecans or nothing at all, especially if you're allergic to one of those things. I am adding 1/4 cup of chopped pecans to my topping. And now we're ready to complete our apple crisp. So we're gonna grab our pie tin with our apples from before, and we're gonna slowly pour our topping on top. And I'm gonna press it down as I go to spread out that butter so it's a nice even layer. And there we go. It's okay if your topping doesn't completely cover your apples, but if you would like it to, just make some more. You can use the same amount of ingredients, or you can half it and add some more around the edges. Now, we are going to bake this at 375 degrees for 40 to 45 minutes until the top is brown and the apples are tender. And here is our finished apple crisp. You can eat it hot, warm, or cold, and I'd like to put a little vanilla ice cream on top of mine. If you weren't able to follow along with our video today, you can see the recipe on the link in the description.